Embarkation day or boarding day can be one of the worst days of a cruise, especially for a first-time cruiser, but it doesn't have to be. In this video, I'm going to share my 15 tips for making boarding day a breeze. Hey there, y'all. I'm RacQuelle from MHFamilyAdventures, and with almost 70 cruises under our belt since 2019, we are your go-to spot for all things cruise related. Whether it be family cruising in the Caribbean, solo cruising in the Mediterranean, off the beaten path shore excursions, cruise tips and tricks, we have you covered. So let's jump right in with my top tips for Embarkation Day. But before we get started, if you love cruise and travel content, please consider hitting that subscribe button. We release at least one full-length cruise vlog every Friday. With over 15 cruises already on the books for 2025, you don't want to miss out on any of our solo and family cruise adventures. So be sure to hit that notification bell as well. Hey guys, I'm RacQuelle from MHFamilyAdventures, and today I'm going to give you guys 15 quick tips to make Embarkation Day a breeze. Now, Embarkation Day can be the most stressful part of your cruise, but it doesn't have to be if you follow these 15 tips. Number one, and this is probably the most important thing, because you can't even embark if you don't arrive for your cruise on time. So that means you should plan to make your trip to your port of embarkation or your city of embarkation at least one day prior to your cruise. Now, I know some people say they want to save money by not doing so, but keep in mind the cruise ship will not wait for you. Typically, you must get on board and be checked in at least 2 hours prior to the cruise sailing away. And so if you happen to have a delayed flight or a flight to cancel the day of, or even your car breaks down, you will miss your cruise. And guys, you won't get money back. Now, if you have travel insurance, you might be able to get money back if your flight cancels or is delayed. But keep in mind, arrive in the day before, that way you don't chance missing out on your cruise. Number two, be sure to complete your online cruise check-in. It varies depending on the cruise line, but usually it's anywhere between 14 days and 45 days before your cruise. During your online check-in, you will select an embarkation time. Now, you want to be sure to select an embarkation time that works best for you. Now, the rule of thumb is if you select an early embarkation time or a late embarkation time, you can avoid the crowds at the terminal. So if you are someone that you don't like the crowds, you want to get on the ship early, select an early embarkation time. But a trick is you need to make sure you check in right at midnight on the night that you can check in, because those times fill up fast. And if you're someone who wants to go directly to your cabin, because keep in mind the cabins won't be ready until about 1 o'clock, then you will want to select a later check-in time. That way, as soon as you get on the ship, you can go to your cabin and you're free to enjoy your cruise. So be sure to check in for your cruise using your cruise line's app. Again, it varies 14 to 45 days prior to your cruise, and select an embarkation time that works for you. And be sure to arrive at the embarkation time. Some cruise lines are cracking down on those trying to arrive early. So if you select a 1 p.m. arrival time, plan to arrive around 1 p.m. It'll cost you a lot of heartache later if you arrive and have to wait, and the cruise line tells you that you have to wait outside. Number three, strategically pack a carry-on bag. Now, this carry-on bag would be something that you're going to use for the first day of the cruise. Keep in mind, once you check your luggage with the porters, which I also recommend doing, once you check your luggage, it's possible you may not see your luggage until after dinner time. So if you're someone who's going to want to hit up the pool as soon as you get on the ship, or if you're going to want to shower and freshen up for dinner in the evening, then be sure to pack a carry-on bag that will have your swimsuit, have your sunscreen, it'll have anything that you need for the evening, because there is a chance. Now, cruise lines are getting better as far as getting those items to you probably like around 4 or 5 p.m., but if you have an early dining time, it's possible that you may not have your luggage in your cabin ready to go. So pack a carry-on and play it safe. Also, with your carry-on, be sure to include in that carry-on items that are important to you, your medicine, travel documents, all of those things. Make sure you have those on you, not in your check bag that's gone, because again, if you need to take a nap and you have a CPAP machine, you may not be able to take your nap till later in the evening because your bags will not be together. And then number four, along with bags, be sure to check your bags with the porter. Now, the worst thing to do on embarkation day, especially if you are a new cruiser, is having to lug all of that luggage onto the cruise. So be sure to check it with the porter. The porter can assist you with getting your luggage from the point that you're dropped off, from curb all the way to your cabin. So be sure to just drop it off. So tag your bags in your cruise documents. You'll find your bag tags, print those off, secure them to your luggage, make sure your name is on them. and drop them off at the porters. Now, it is customary to tip the porters $1 to $2 or so per bag, so make sure you pack some change, that way you can tip them, but don't worry about lugging all that stuff on to the cruise. Make it a lot easier for yourself by checking your bags at the terminal. And also be sure that any items that you're planning to carry on, such as drinks, because some cruise lines do allow you to carry on canned sodas, as well as a bottle of wine. Check with your cruise line to double check that you are allowed to carry those things on, but make sure they're not in your check bag when you give them to the porters, because if the cruise line catches it, they will take it out of your bag and confiscate it. You will not get it back. It will also delay your bags being delivered to your cabin. This happened to us after, I don't know, 40 something cruises. I should know better. I packed a 12 pack of Sprite in a check bag, my son Andrew, who loves Sprite, and they confiscated it. So be sure not to pack those items in your check bags that you check in with the porters. Number 5, have all of your travel documents in your hand. If you accidentally check those items, it's possible you will not be able to board your cruise, because the cruise line may not go hunt down your bag, because as soon as you drop it off at the porter, it starts making its way to the ship. And it's possible they will not track down your bag to make sure you can get your travel documents. So you'll need to have your passport, your birth certificate, valid ID, whatever travel documents you're using, as well as your boarding pass. You need to have all of those things in hand when you check in at the cruise ship. Also, if you are someone who requested special assistance, be sure to check in at the kiosk located right outside the cruise terminal. There you can check in to receive any wheelchair assistance you may have. If you have a cognitive disability, autistic, or anything like that, they will show you where to go for the special assistance lane. Number 6, and again, I already mentioned carrying on sodas and wine. I would recommend that you pack those items in like a reusable grocery storage bag. I've been to the terminal so many times, and I've seen people with the cardboard soda cases that rip and tear, because it's a lot of movement getting from your hotel to the cruise ship and to your cabin with those items. So you can take them out. The cruise line does not require that you have them in the actual carton. You can take those out, put those in a reusable shopping bag. That way it's easier to get on board. And another tip for you is pretty much all cruise lines nowadays will allow you to take any bags that you carry on and drop them off in your cabin even before your cabin is ready. Now, there have been some issues with people going into their cabin and making themselves at home before they're ready. Don't do that. But if you have a bunch of carry-on bags, or if you have sodas and wine and things like that, then feel free to, as soon as you get on the ship, go to your cabin, drop them off in the closet, and leave. Allow your room steward time to get your cabin together and get it clean, and don't stick around until they give you the all call that your cabin is ready to go. But also with that, keep in mind that your cabin is not secure until you have your cabin key in hand, which you'll find your cabin key for most cruise lines outside your cabin door. Some cruise lines, if you're with Princess, they're going to give you your medallion in advance. If you're sailing with Virgin, they're going to give you your wristband in advance. So some cruise lines, you'll get it in advance. Some cruise lines, you won't get it until you go to your cabin. So just keep in mind that it's possible that if your key card is not outside your cabin when you go drop your bags off, your items may not be secure. So I don't recommend leaving like electronics or anything of value. And number 7, go hungry, because as soon as you get on the ship, there's going to be a ton of things to do, including dining at the buffet. Now, I personally would only recommend going to the buffet if you select an early arrival time, because usually the buffet is empty. So I suggest you drop your things off, go to the buffet before the crowd, meet the crowd, get there, enjoy your meal. Now, if you're someone who's going to arrive later, or you don't want to be at the buffet, most cruise lines offer some sort of sit-down lunch option. So check to see if your cruise line offers that. That will make for an easier, lighter embarkation day, and it's less stress to be able to sit down and have someone serve you lunch. So check out lunch. Lunch will be ready as soon as you get on the ship. And we are now halfway through our embarkation day tips. If you are finding this video to be helpful at all, please consider subscribing to our channel. Give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment for your favorite embarkation day tip, or if there's something you want to share with other cruisers, leave those in the comments. Number 8, if you are traveling with children or teens, be sure to stop by the Kids Club as soon as you can to get them registered. Now, some cruise lines, you'll do the pre-registration on the app during your check-in process, but you want to make sure that you have an opportunity to go to any of the open houses that they have, where you will complete additional paperwork, where they'll check to see if they have any special needs, allergies, things like that, and then they'll explain to you the check-in, check-out process, or what have you. It is a lot easier to do that as soon as you get on the ship after you've had lunch, than it is to wait until you're ready to drop them off in the evening, because usually there is a long line the first night of the cruise. So do it in advance. That way, when 7 o'clock or whatever time it is for the kids club, teens club to open, it's easy just to get them checked in. You don't have to worry about any additional paperwork. Number 9, go out and explore the ship. Now, as soon as you get on the ship, people are going to be floating around, but for the most part, most people are going to situate themselves until their cabin is ready. So that is the perfect chance for you to walk around the ship to get a feel of the land, because you're going to be cruising for several days, and you want to make sure that you're able to see as much as you can and kind of know where things are. I know when I first started cruising, there were times where I missed certain lounges or certain pool areas because I just didn't know where they were, or I didn't know they existed. So I kind of make it a routine on that first day of the cruise when I'm on a new ship to actually go, before I even get to my cabin, just kind of walk the ship to see where things are. That way I don't miss out on anything. Number 10, if you need to visit guest services for anything, meaning you need to put in a special request, or you got to your cabin and you realize that there's something going wrong with your cabin, you need to go to guest services as early on embarkation day as you can, because embarkation day is known to have a really, really long line at guest services. So if you are someone that needed special assistance, complimentary Wi-Fi for devices, or if you were just instructed to go to guest services once you got on board the ship, do that as soon as you get on board to avoid the line. Because guys, when I tell you the line is long, depending on the cruise line, the line can be really, really long. You don't want to spend the first hour or two on board the ship in line trying to get things settled. So try to do that as soon as you get on the ship to avoid the line. Number 11, reconfirm your dining time. So on your ship card, you will find your dining time. It could be your ship card, or it might be the ship's app. It'll have your dining time. You will also find your table number. I recommend that you stop by the main dining room to see where your table is located. And if you have a special preference, let's say you're a solo cruiser and you want to dine solo and they have you at a shared table, or if you have a preference by the window. Now, they won't always accommodate those types of requests. However, if you check your room key, make sure you have the right dining time, because sometimes that's messed up. And then you'll see where your table is. You can talk to the maitre d' to see if they're able to accommodate and make changes for you. But you have to do that early on in the cruise before everyone else puts in their requests, so that you have a greater chance of your request being accepted. If you are somebody that is in a wheelchair or scooter, I also recommend going to see your space, because there's been times where you might note on a booking that you have a wheelchair or scooter, but then they place your table further away from the door so that you have to maneuver between tables. So definitely check it out just to see what your space is looking like. And again, if you aren't satisfied with that space, there's no guarantee that the maitre d' is going to do anything about it, but at least you can put in your request early and hopefully get accommodated. Number 12, check your cabin, check your stateroom for any damaged items or anything that you might want to put in a request for with your room steward. Now, there are some extra things that you can add into your cabin that are on a first come, first served basis. So if you need like an extension cord for a CPAP machine, or if you need distilled water, some cruise lines will offer complimentary distilled water, or in some cases you might have to pay for the gallon. But if you need a fan, or maybe I don't know, a stool in the shower, anything that you might need, you need to do that and request it as soon as you can. That way you have a better chance of getting those things. You can also request like mattress pads. Those again are on a first come, first served basis. You need extra blankets, extra pillows, things like that. So I said, check out your cabin, make sure there's nothing damaged or broken in your cabin, because you want to report that immediately. But put in any special requests with your room steward as soon as you get on the ship, or as soon as you get situated in your cabin. That way you can have access to those things that you need. Number 14, if you did not do it prior to leaving home, download the ship's app before your ship sails away. You will need the ship's app, because that's where you're going to find things such as all of the entertainment on board. You're going to find the restaurants where you can make reservations. You're going to find the ship's map, your onboard spending account, all of those things, even chat features so you can stay in touch with your family and friends. So be sure you have the cruise lines app downloaded, ready to go before you set sail, because once you set sail, you may not be able to download the app. So make sure you have it ready to go, logged in, all of that. Now you can access all of the features of the ship's app without having Wi-Fi. You just need to get on airplane mode, connect to the ship's Wi-Fi, and then you can access things on the app. Now you can't access anything else if you don't have internet, so be sure to get internet package if you need to check email or social media and things like that. But have the ship's app ready to go, because you will use it a lot during your cruise. And then last but not least, number 15, participate in all of the embarkation day activities. Most cruise lines will offer some sort of sail away party, and that is the perfect chance to get out, meet other cruisers, have a good time. I absolutely love sail away parties because it just unites all of the cruisers on board to come out, have fun, start the vacation off right. You will also see that some cruise lines will offer like an embarkation day or a welcome aboard show or meeting where they'll give you more information about the cruise line and kind of what to expect. That sometimes happens on the first day, sometimes it'll happen on the second day. So check your cruise line's app for that. But participate in the activities. You're on vacation. Have fun, participate. Sail away is a lot of fun, and that's the perfect way to start your vacation off right. And so that's all I have. 15 quick tips to make embarkation day a lot easier. I'm sure there are other tips available, so if you have any additional tips that I happen to miss, leave those in the comments. If you are a new cruiser, welcome and consider subscribing to our channel, and come back and let me know how your embarkation day went based off using some of these tips. I appreciate you guys watching this channel, watching this video, and we'll have more cruise tips, more cruise fun, full-length cruise vlogs every Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So stay tuned for the fun. But until then, guys, have a fun time on your cruise, and we will see you guys on the next cruise.